Hey guys, my name is Ryan Drawless and I'm the Assistant Tech Director here at Resurrection Church in Daphne, Alabama. Renew Vision just dropped update 7.8 for ProPresenter 7, and I wanted to take an in-depth look at both of the new features, Network Link and Multitracks integration. This video will be discussing Network Link. The Multitracks video will be out soon, but if you're here a little later and it's already out, be sure to click the link in the description below and it'll take you to the Multitracks video. Before we get into it, just know there are minimum subscription requirements you'll have to have in order to fully use these two features, but I'll be sure to fill you in on what those are, and you can decide whether or not it's worth it for your church. So let's get into it with Network Link. Before I explain how to set up Network Link, I want to clear up any confusion about exactly what Network Link is and how it can be useful. This feature will allow you to control presentations that are on multiple devices simultaneously from any one of the devices on the Network Link. Network Link can open up incredible opportunities for your church. Now, you have the ability to split the load of the visual aspect of your church service amongst multiple devices. In my church's case, we purchased a 2020 iMac with a new i9 processor and 64 gigs of RAM to run our services. However, the computer only had 2 USB-C ports, and we need 3 for our 3 displays. Now, instead of purchasing an external GPU, we were able to find use for our older iMac by running our stage display off of it, saving us a few $100. This gives us the flexibility to add more screens in the future without adding any more of a workload on our main iMac. If we need more screens, we can simply add another computer into the Network Link and add displays to the newly added computer. Network Link is not a master and slave relationship like the previous master control module in other versions of ProPresenter, where only one device can control other devices. It's better than that. You can now have control of the slides from any of the devices on the link. Now remember, this feature is only a slide triggering application. Editing slides of a presentation on one device will not affect the slides of that same presentation on any other device. Now, what do you need for this feature? Luckily, it's not too complicated. You must have an active seat for each device that will be on your Network Link. In other words, you'll be running multiple instances of ProPresenter 7, so each device must be registered with Renew Vision. My church has the Pro 7 campus, which means we have 20 seats or 20 devices that can run ProPresenter 7 simultaneously. But if you don't have enough seats, or if you only have one seat, you'll need to upgrade your account with Renew Vision to use Network Link. This is perhaps the most important step for Network Link. You'll need to determine what you want to use Network Link for. The most beneficial reason to use Network Link is for the addition of more screens, and even the addition of screens in different locations. As long as your devices are on the same network, they will be able to communicate and trigger slides for different displays, no matter the location of your devices on campus. Will you want the same controls on each ProPresenter device? It may be helpful to have all of your macros, looks, props, and media on your second device so you aren't starting with a blank slate. If you want to do this, keep listening. If this isn't something that you'll need, skip ahead to the next section. We're going to send all of your current ProPresenter information to your second computer. Head over to your Documents folder and find your ProPresenter folder. This is the folder that ProPresenter creates and saves all of your documents and configurations to. You're going to want to share this folder with any computer that will be in the Network Link. Now, if you have several items in your ProPresenter, this is going to be a large file, and this is where an Apple iMac will be more efficient with its AirDrop feature. This file may be too large to upload to a cloud-based file server like Dropbox or Google Drive. If you don't have an Apple device, I would suggest copying this file onto a flash drive with enough storage, and then adding that onto your other computer. Now, once this folder is on your second computer, let's delete the current ProPresenter folder and add the new folder in its place. Now, when you open up ProPresenter, everything that was created on your first computer is now configured on your second computer. Now, the first thing we're going to do is head on over to our network preferences in ProPresenter. At the top, you'll see the IP address and the port number. This is the only information you'll need. Now, on each computer, you're going to need to enable link, which is right here. After you've done that, we can link them together. To add a new device, press the plus sign. Now I'm going to type in the IP address of my other computer. Now, the same for the port number of the other computer. And here it prompts us to name our link. This is just our 2 computer setup, so we call ours 2link. Of course, you can name yours whatever you'd like. And if we look at the second computer, the first computer's info will pop up automatically in this box just to show that both devices are now connected to each other and you're good to go. It's important to note that the most efficient way of setting up network link is to assign each device on the network link its own static IP address. If your devices are just in the DHCP, your computers may be assigned a different IP address after power cycling them. This means you'll need to relink your computers each time. A static IP address will mean the network link group and its members will remain intact with every ProPresenter use. Now, let's talk about setting up presentations and playlists to be used by the two devices simultaneously. There are 3 criteria that the network link operates by: playlist number, playlist item number, and slide number. That means that if the playlist you're wanting to display is in the first position on one computer, it will need to be in the first position on the other computer. This same idea applies to the playlist item order and the slide numbers of each presentation. Make sure that each device's items and slides are matched up. What I would recommend doing next is completely set up your service on one computer. If you use Planning Center, import in your current week's service. If you don't use Planning Center, set up for your service as you normally would. Go ahead and get everything in order, all the arrangements of the songs, your backgrounds and graphics, just like you would before using Network Link. Now this is where things get a little easier if you use Planning Center services with ProPresenter. Again, if you don't worry, I'll show you the alternate option throughout this explanation. If you look at the top of each presentation, you'll see the presentation name. Click it and you'll see Upload to Planning Center Services. Doing this will upload a .pro file to each item in your Planning Center service. On the other computer, it will be as simple as attaching each file that you uploaded directly from Planning Center. A big thing to note here is that the .pro file will not include any media such as backgrounds, graphics, videos. You will need to send these separately to the other computer if needed. If your second computer will need media and the video input, keep in mind you'll need these routed to the other computer as well. The video feeds and media will not transfer over the network link, so you'll need to duplicate the video signal and media files to your other device. If this is what you'll need, create a new folder every week on the desktop. Name it Date Files. Import all needed media, videos, backgrounds, etc. to that folder and name each file accordingly if it's not already clear enough. If you are not using Planning Center, you will also need to copy your ProPresenter files into this folder. Once you've done so, send this folder over to your second computer via AirDrop, Google Drive, Dropbox, or by USB. Now, let's look at the second computer. If you use Planning Center, start by importing your Planning Center service just like before. For each presentation, you'll click the little paperclip on the right-hand side. This will bring up a window of your files in Planning Center, and you can simply drag in the file into its correct spot, like so. Doing this will bring in all of the information from the file you previously uploaded, such as any arrangements, font types and sizes, and any other adjustments you may have made before uploading. You may need to select the arrangement you created, but it is saved to the profile here. You'll also need to drag in any media that you need, as this will not be uploaded to Planning Center. This workflow means that making changes to your presentations will be painless. Let's say you need to adjust the reflow of a slide, or the band has decided to change the arrangement of a song that you've already set up. Simply make the adjustment on one computer, then upload that file to Planning Center again. This will overwrite the previous file that was uploaded. Now, you can simply import the new file on the other computer and you're all squared away. If you are not using Planning Center, you will build your service from the folder we created earlier. Drag in each .pro file in the correct order and attach any media necessary from the same folder and you'll be good to go. Just remember, make sure everything is in the exact same order. Now that everything is set up on each device, we can click through the slides and you'll see that each device changes the slides accordingly. If you have the ProRemote app, you can also connect an iPad or cellular device to control the slides on both computers in a network link. There is one action I've discovered that does not translate between both devices, and that is clear to logo. As you can see, firing this on either computer will not trigger it on the other for whatever reason. So if that's something you use, be sure to keep that in mind. Now, you'll be able to completely customize each computer's configuration to fit your needs. Separate screen configurations, themes, slide design, macros, props, you get the idea. Each computer can have its own layout and settings to optimize what you need for your church setting. Just remember that the order of all of your items matters. If I fire the first macro in our list on one computer, it will fire the first macro on the other computer. The same logic applies to props and audio in their respective bins as well. The way to avoid this, if you're not wanting this mirrored setup, is to attach the macros that you need to each slide, and don't fire them from the bins. This will ensure that the correct actions are applied on each computer. So that's a wrap. If you have any questions about Network Link, feel free to comment below and we'd be happy to reach out to you. I feel like we've got a pretty good grasp on everything that is ProPresenter 7, and we've got several more in-depth videos planned for you, with multi-tracks in-depth coming soon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.